Good morning, students. In the last video, we have studied in French Revolution. We have studied that how Louis XVI and his wife were executed, and France became a republic. Now, 3.1, the reign of terror. In the previous video, also we have discussed a little bit about the reign of terror. So the period from 1793 to 1794, 1 year mainly, is referred to as the Reign of Terror. Robespierre followed the policy of severe control and punishment. So Robespierre, he became the ruler of the France at that time. I'm not saying he became the monarch or anything. He became the ruler. According to the constitution, everything has been started. So in these paragraphs, I'm going to read whatever it is there. Robespierre followed the policy of severe control and eliminated the enemies of republic. So what he did, he became brutal. If anything was there or anyone was there that can become an enemy for the republic nation, he used to kill them. Guilty were, the thing was that guilty were guillotined. So, guillotined, what is that? It was a kind of apparatus they have made to give people the punishment. And then, reforms by Robespierre. So, what were the reforms? That changes, what were the changes he had brought to the France? That were maximum limits set for wages and prices. So, a limit was set for wages and prices. Rationing of meat and bread means meat and bread rationing means it was not like that in the market anyone can buy any such quantity of meat and bread. It was being rationed according to the need. Peasants to sell grains to governments at fixed prices. Prices of the selling of grains were also fixed. Expensive white flour forbidden. Use of bread made of whole wheat. So what he wanted to show equality, that if poor people are not able to buy expensive flour, that means only whole wheat bread can be made in that country. French men too called citoyen instead of monsieur, and women to be addressed as citoyenne instead of madame. So these were the changes, means they are citizens. Citizens now they are making them. Shutting down of churches and converting them into barracks and offices. His policies were too harsh to be followed. So at last what happened? Robespierre pursued his policies so relentlessly that even his supporters began to demand moderation. They wanted a society where a little moderation will be there. Moderation means छूट, थोड़ा बहुत तो moderate हो, कुछ इतना harsh है. Finally, he was convicted by a court in July 1794, arrested, and on the next day sent to guillotined, means he met the same fate. Now a directory rules France. So Robespierre was from the Jacobin government. As we all know, Jacobins were doing the revolution. So this person was from them. But now what happened? Fall of Jacobins gave way to prosperous middle class to capture power. So fall of Jacobin means that Robespierre was also killed. New constitution took away voting rights of non-propertied sections of society. Again, this change occurred. Again, they have snatched the power of voting from non-propertied men. State to have two legislative councils, which would appoint an executive made up of 5 members. So this is very important that now state have two legislative councils. Two, otherwise it was one. Two, and they are going to appoint the executive members, 5 executive members. It further gave way to Napoleon, a military dictator. So now, further what happened? Military dictator Napoleon came to rise. Almost he came to rise. Now, next is, did women have a revolution? What do you think by yourself? Did women have the revolution? Yes, they had the revolution in their own way. So, women actively participated in events that brought important changes in French society. Yes, they have took part, they actively participated. To discuss and voice their interests, they began their political clubs and newspapers. Being disappointed by the Constitution of 1791 because they did not get the right to vote, they demanded right to vote, elected to assembly and hold public offices. Means they wanted a participation in the society, not merely in the houses, participation in the society they demanded. Revolutionary governments took some steps in favor of women: compulsory schooling, no forced marriages, marriages to be registered, divorces made legal and could be applied for by both men and women, could be trained for jobs and run small business. So many reforms were there, so many reforms, and these reforms were very important for women who were just staying at home. Movement and equal political rights, however, continued for over next 200 years. It took 200 years for women to get equal rights. It was in 1946 when women got right to vote. Now next part of the chapter is the abolition of slavery. So slavery, we all know that people used to keep human beings as their slaves and they don't let them go to their places. They just keep them like that in very harsh conditions. So human beings were at that time bought and sold like we buy and sell things in the market. Abolition of slavery was one of the revolutionary social reforms by Jacobins. Napoleon reintroduced slavery in 1804. Earlier, Jacobins they abolished slavery, but again in 1804, Napoleon he reintroduced slavery. It was 1848 when finally slavery was abolished in French colonies. So, firstly, it was abolished by Jacobins, then reintroduced by Napoleon, and 1848. In 1848, finally, it was removed or abolished from the French colonies. The revolution and every the revolution and everyday. So we have studied about the revolution that certain changes were there, so many changes were there, rights were made, acts were made, but what is the relation of revolution with the everyday life? What had changed? Various laws were passed by the revolutionary governments to practice liberty and equality in everyday life. Means that government took many steps to make life, everyday life, full of liberty and equality. So, for this, what the government did, censorship was abolished. Censorship, we all know that press was not able to print whatever the reality was, but they were just confined to print positive things about the monarch. So now censorship was abolished. No censorship. They can print the reality. Now people can reach to the reality through newspapers and magazines. Freedom of speech and expression became a natural right. Plays, songs, and festive processions and contains idea like liberty, justice, and philosophy widely attracted educated people. So they were educated people were attracted towards plays, songs, etc. that talks about the idea of liberty and justice, because at that times they did not have anything to get entertained. Views and ideas traveled widely into the countryside. So, because of these, because of songs, because of plays, because of dramas, these views, these ideas traveled into countryside also. So, it's all about your chapter. We will In the next video, we will discuss about the conclusion, and till then revise your chapter thoroughly. And again, I am telling you to make a flow chart of the event so that it would be easier for you to understand the chapter. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.